Splines are about as useful to use in your level as they are frustrating to get working right. Everything you're seeing, except for the floor, has been generated through splines. The stairs, the furniture, the lights, and especially the grind rail that I'll be showing you how to make later in this series are all splines. Moreover, every spline is using a single blueprint that we'll be able to set and orient our meshes on. And if you've had issues with splines twisting and deforming, I'll be going through how to fix that as well. For right now, we're going to set up the basics of using a blueprint to construct meshes on a spline and setting their rotation. So, let's just get into it. Now, making the blueprint, you can open the content browser, right-click, go to Blueprint Class, select Actor, and I'm going to name this BP Splines. And we're just going to add a spline component. Compile it, save it, and then we can open up our construction script. And in our construction script, we're going to be getting our spline mesh component, setting a mesh, and configuring it here. So we can right-click and say Add Spline Mesh Component. Off of our return value here, set static mesh. Drag off the return value again. I'm going to set collision enabled. Only if you want to have collision for your meshes. And drag off one more time and set forward axis. Right click on new mesh, promote it to a variable. I'm going to change it to spline mesh. Click the eye. Change our collision enabled to collision enabled. And right click on the in forward axis and promote that to a variable. Click on the eye again. Compile it, save it, and we'll minimize this and drag our blueprint into the level. So now, if we select a mesh, I'm going to use shape type that comes with the starter content. It automatically adds it on the spline according to the forward vector of the mesh itself, which is why we want to set the forward axis. Now that we have it set to Y, we can see that it is going lengthwise. Now the next step, we want to be able to drag on our spline, and as we drag the spline points out, we want to populate this with more meshes. So we open up our spline blueprint again, and we are going to get a for loop. And I'm just going to disconnect the spline meshes here. We want to right click on the index because we're going to need that later. Promote that to a variable, and you can keep it as index. Connect it to the spline mesh. Now to get the index, we want to take the entirety of the spline. So you can drag off the spline component and say get spline length, which is automatically going to get us the entire distance of our spline. And we want to divide it by the length of our meshes. Now, because we have the variable for our spline mesh, we can get the forward axis dimensions for whatever we choose. So if we drag in our spline mesh, we're going to get bounding box. Right click on the return value and split the pin. And we want to take the maximum and subtract it from the minimum. And then we can split this. So now this will get us the distance of our X, Y, and Z according to the mesh. Drag in your in forward axis. And we want to have it equal enum. And I'm going to just make a bit more space here. And we're going to get a branch. And our first branch is going to be if our forward axis is equal to X. We're going to get another branch. If it's not equal to X, we're going to check to see if it's equal to Y. And if not, it's automatically going to choose Z. And so we want to set the value of our spline mesh according to the X, Y, and Z that we choose. So we can just right click on the X, Y, or Z here and promote it to a variable. And I'm going to rename this mesh length. And if it is X, we're going to connect it here to X. And we're going to duplicate these values twice over for Y and Z. And connect the pins accordingly. And then we're going to make two more variables. First, it's going to be called spacing. That's going to be a float. Click on the I because we want to edit that. And the other one is going to be called section length. And what we want to do is set the section length to be equal to our spacing plus the mesh length that we use. So spacing plus mesh length is our section. We can connect that to the loop, and then our last index is going to be our spline length divided by the section length. And it's automatically going to truncate that. Compile it, save it, and now we can move on to the transform. Without setting the transform, basically we're just stacking these meshes on top of each other. So I'm going to drag off here and make transform. And there's two nodes that we're going to use from our spline. It's going to be get location at distance along spline, which you can connect to the transform location, and get rotation at distance along spline. We want our distance to be our index multiplied by the number of sections we have. And that's going to be the distance for both of these nodes. Now, when we get the rotation along our spline, we're not able to edit that unless we add a rotator to it. So we want to get combine rotators, connect that to B, and we're going to make a new variable for A. So add a variable, and we're going to call this mesh rotation. That's going to be of type rotator. And then we can drag that into the rotation, and having it be A for our variable and then B for the spline actually does matter because it handles A, then goes to B. So if you switch those values, combining rotators, it can mess up. So we compile it and save it, and now you can see on our mesh, it is scaling. If we drag out different spline points and drag back, it's adding and removing our meshes. If we want to add some spacing, we go to our details and type in something like 50. You'll see that it is spacing each 50 units out. If we rotate around, see it tries its best to follow the rotation of the mesh. I'm going to redo that and just go. And if we go and change our rotation, we need to set our rotation as a variable, which we didn't do. So click the I on our mesh rotation, compile and save. And now if we wanted to rotate this just 90 degrees on the z-axis, it will try to point to the center. And how well this rotation looks is going to depend entirely on how you rotate your spline points. So if I could try to get them into a circle here, I will. I dubbed that good enough. And if we change our meshes, say I want to just use chair, we can change the axis that it's on. We do the rotations. Now, one thing to note, if you haven't worked with splines before, you can't really move these individually. You're able to click on it and rotate that around, but as soon as you move any part of the mesh or recompile it, you see it snaps back to what we have as our rotator. That's one of the limitations that we have with meshes. I hope you found this video useful as a basic overview of using spline meshes. I encourage you to play around with setting splines in your levels so you get a feel of working with them. The next video is going to cover continuous spline meshes like railings and railroad tracks and roads where the meshes contour to the spline line. And there's going to be a lot of issues along the way, so expect that to be a more in-depth tutorial. Thank you for watching this far. If you liked the video, let me know by leaving a like. If you have any comments or thoughts, I'd love to hear them. Otherwise, I'll see you in the next video.